G'day YouTube, my name's Lance and welcome to Bundy Bear's Shed. Well, we've had a busy week. Last Kangaroo stew, I had the bonnet of my John Deere 420. I had a big patch that I was just getting ready to put in the bonnet. And I haven't done much else in Bundy Bear's Shed because I've been working on the John Deere. And I spent all last weekend, 3 days last weekend on it, and a bit of afternoon work and all that. But look, it's come up nice. It's pretty good. I had a couple of little flying ants and things land in the paint because I had to do it outside. And I had a couple of little runs there. I could have done the bonnet and the paint a little bit better, but look, it does look nice. And I have to touch up the paint around the bolts yet and wire the flashing light. Now, there is a few little jobs to do, but all in all, it's looking pretty good. So we'll probably. Well, I have got footage of walking around it that I did this morning. So normally I do these Kangaroo stews early in the morning, but I've been out playing on the tractor all day. So yeah, we're doing it a little bit later today. And I'm just trying out a light down the bottom here. There's a light because I notice on a lot of my videos, because I got my old hat on here, there's a line on my eyes, and you can't see my eyes when I'm having a chat. So I've got a light down the bottom here. We're just going to trial that this week and see how it goes. And yeah, it's not too bad, not too glary. It's just a little fluoro light, so we'll give that a go. But on the John Deere, when I painted it, it has a green bonnet with a yellow stripe, and I bought the genuine decal set or sticker set off John Deere, and their side decal, this fella here, it has plastic or clear plastic in between the letters, and I'm not real fussed on the whole idea. Looks a bit shit, but it looks a lot cleaner if you can get vinyl lettering and put on. So what I did on last Monday evening, I painted the yellow stripes early in the morning. Then last Monday evening, before I went home, before I went up to the house, I put these stickers on. I went home wagging my tail, thought I'd done a hell of a good job. And when I came back into the shed Thursday evening, I've been busy doing customer jobs. And when I come back into the shed Thursday evening, I went over to the tractor and had a look, and all where in between the letters there was all bubbled up and looked like it had been out and got a bad case of sunburn. And I think what I probably did is maybe not allowed the paint. It's a 2-pack paint. I think maybe I didn't allow the paint enough time to cure properly, and there might have still been a few fumes coming off when I put the stickers on. So anyway, at the end of our building where we have Queensland Tractor Spares, there's a business called Bundy Trophies and Gifts, and Frank has just bought the business within the last 3 or 4 or 5 months, something like that, and he's a sign writer. So I went and chewed his ear on Friday morning about 5:30. We get there early and have a chat sometimes, and I asked him could he do some different type of decals for me. So, and that's what he did. He did these ones here, and these are the vinyl letters that are clear in between. And you peel the top off here, you separate them, then put them on the bonnet, and then you peel the white paper off the top. And I'm going to do 2 sets because I thought, well, I didn't know if I was going to bugger one up, the run I was having with it. And the other one was, I've got the John Deere dozer coming up, and we've got a decal set for that too. And I thought, well, if they're the same, I'll probably be happy to have an extra pair of stickers. So I've gone that way with it, and yeah, hopefully it'll work out all right. There's a bit of footage. I did a steering box for a fella, did some new shafts for a steering box, so will probably be room for that this Kangaroo stew. It was just putting a new shaft. Actually, this steering shaft here, you can't actually buy one the right size now, but this is right. Everything's right, but it's just 30mm longer. So we actually cut and shut this shaft and put the steering box together for him. So yeah, hopefully it'll be a good job. It's just we had to go a different way around it, so there'll be a little bit of footage of that in there. But we also spent a bit of money. it's good to do that, isn't it, really? I blame everyone else, really, because, you know, every time I look at Bruce Witham's channel, he's bought a rotor brooch or something like that, and overseas all the fellas buying stuff, so yeah, feeding the monster. So, but anyway, in one job I did through the week was reseal an injection pump, and an injection pump, a rotary pump like that. I have a video about 12 months old now on my channel on how to fit a seal kit to that, and I've done quite a few seal kits, and I've always just had them in the vise and been chasing it around, and it's never been a real successful thing. So last pump I did, I took the time to use the gaskets to mark out a plate, and so we'll have a plate in here that the boss from the pump will go in, and 3 bolts here. So I've taken the time to mark that out while I had a chance, while I had the pump, and then this last week I had some injectors to do, and so I'll just get this thing out of the vise. I should have been better prepared, but yeah, with the injector tester, the injector tester, I usually put it in the vise and pump away. Then when I've got to work on the injector, I've got to take the injector tester out of the vise, then put the injector in the vise to do its bit, and back and forth. So before I sold my business, I had a plate made up similar to this, a big piece of angle line, and the injector tester sat it on it. Then this end there was a hole with some studs that you could slide the injector over and undo. So we're knocking a few through, so I've got that plate marked out as well, and you know, the next day or two we'll probably do that. A little while back I bought a rotor brooch holder for my little mill, and that's this fella here, and we've had that for a while now, and well, I haven't used it to date, but in doing this job, putting a hole there, I took the opportunity to buy a brooch to put in it, and so we're going to give that a go. I've got the ejection, I've got the pin to go with it, so we'll do that over the next few days. I think we've got enough footage for this week's kangaroo stew. I'm filming a lot at the moment, and I've made a spare wheel holder for the boat trailer that I haven't had time to, well, it's pretty well done, I just haven't had time to put it out there. And I was sort of saving it for a stew if I had to do a rushed one, which sometimes you do. And so yeah, look, there's a bit of that there, but it'll be in a later one. And these brackets, they'll probably be separate ones as well. And we also went and bought some bolts. If you remember the TE20 puller or press plate that I made, you know, for pulling the axles and putting the axles in the press to press the outer wheel bearings and seal housings and that off. The axle I had on the bench here, it had the studs coming out of it. And anyway, through the week I needed a 16 spline axle, which is a different one. The neighbour had a tractor he was pulling apart, so I went and got a couple of axles off him, and there's no studs, so I thought, well, that's a fair enough thing. I remember when I had the workshop that I used to have a heap of bolts with the plate, because sometimes the studs would come out when people undid the nuts, and you'd get the axle with only a few studs in it, and it wasn't enough. You know, you'd damage something. So we had a set of bolts that we could screw in and support it all the way. So we bought 12 7/16 UNF screws, 2 3/4 inches long. So that means that if people bring us a few axles and they've got 2 studs in and the rest are missing, well, we can just pop bolts in and we can support it through the full circle. And we have a couple of little projects coming up with that. I'm just waiting to get my ducks in a row before we do a session on fitting the TE20 axle bearings and seals. There's a couple of things we have on the go with it, and part of it was finding those bolts, and we're looking at doing a bit of an exchange program at work with the early Fergie axles, and we can run a set through, but I'm just not quite geared up yet, so when that's a goer, we'll be okay. And you'll notice on my milling machine, when I've been doing the pitch circle diameter work that I did on the TE20 puller, I've got a chuck in there, and it's a key chuck. And I found just for the little work, you know, you'd take a drill out, then you'd put the bigger drill in, then you'd take that out, then you'd put the countersink in to deburr the holes, and it was just back and forth with the key, and it was giving me the shits a bit. So I thought, oh well, what we've done, we've gone and bought a keyless chuck to put in the milling machine, and it goes up to 16 millimetres, so it goes from 1/2 mil to 16 millimetres. So I haven't had to play with it yet. It should go nice and fine. If it says 1/2 millimetre, well, that's pretty fine. That's, yeah, look at that. I'll see if we can get it. That closes right up. That's a good thing. And being on the milling machine, I bought the arbor that had the thread up the end, so we can actually hold it up there and not. And if there's a bit of chatter, you know, it doesn't want to drop down and wreck the whole job. So I'll have to fit that later, and just have it as a spare. And I've also been and bought a few taps, and the taps are just to replace old worn ones. And when you restore tractors, quite a bit of your tapping is cleaning old rusty holes out, not cutting holes in nice new metal. So I usually try and keep the new taps in the plastic boxes for doing clean metal, like if I'm doing something in the mill or something like that. And as the taps get a little bit dull, or yeah, they just move down the line. Well, they're the ones we use on panels and things like that, to deburr holes or to clean rust out and things like that. So if you put a brand new tap in there to do that, well, it doesn't last very long. And so we try and, yeah, an old blunt one, you can spin it in there and out, and you've done the job. It does what you need to do, so you're away. So I bought a set of 5/16 UNC and 1/4 UNC, just straight taps. So that'll fill the gap that I had there. When I was doing the John Deere, I was cleaning a lot of holes out, and I seem to have lost the bottoming taps or something. It'll turn up. I'll have a big clean up one day and it'll show up. So, and another thing, well, I was in Bunnings the other day, and I've been using the MIG a little bit, and I just bought a set of MIG pliers, because I've always got a pair of pointy pliers in my pocket or around the MIG somewhere. Then I go and grab it and go and do something else. Then I get the MIG going, and where's the bloody pliers? So then I've got to tootle off and find where I left them, because I probably haven't put them back. So a set of MIG pliers, so that'll be good. And just while I was in the shop there, you know how you walk around, you see stuff and fiddle, and grab that. So a brass brush, the stainless brush, you know, nice and thin. They're good for cleaning out tracks on your machines and things like that. And like at Bunnings, they're $7, $6, something. They're not very expensive. And I bought a couple little ones just for tinning and just because over there. Yeah. And with the grinder shuffle, I've been shuffling around grinders. I've got the one with the belt sander here with a fairly fine wheel on it now, and I have a spare 6-inch over here, over the back, that's got no stones on it. It had a couple of wire wheels, but I've set another one up over behind the vise there with a 6-inch wire wheel and a polishing buffing pad. And so this little grinder, we'll set it up with 2 new stones, and with the new stones, I was thinking of making a guide on that for sharpening lathe tools and that. Not that I do that a lot, but I thought, oh well, you know, most of everything gets done on the belt sander here. But some of the other blokes have got some nice belt sanders with a wide belt with a lot better area for coming in straight. So I've got the wherewithal here to make them. I've got bearings by the dozen, and so that may be a project. I'll have to talk myself into that one. Yeah. And around the lathe and the milling machine, I've had one dead blow hammer, and it's been a plastic one, and it's quite a big one, and it's a bit big for the job. You know, it gets in the road. So I had a look on Evil Bay, and I found this little 1 kilo one. So I thought, well, that'll be great. You know, just for bumping something in, or, you know, bumping it down on the vise. And so that was delivered to Bundy for $20. So I thought, well, yeah, look, $20. I'd use it for all sorts of things, but just after I bought that, we had a rep come in, and a rep from Burson's Automotive, and he said, "Oh, we got a little soft hammer here, $12." I said, $12? He said, "Yeah." I said, "Gosh, shit, that's cheap." He said, "It's got little nylon ends on it." So I had a look, and you can screw them off. And it looks like they have a little 8mm metric thread on it, and they both come up. It's a fiberglass, or a resin type fiberglass handle moulded into the top there. And I thought, well, that's a bloody good little thing for $12. And I've used it a couple of times with the plastic ends, and look, they're very soft plastic. They're, well, it's $12 worth. And so I thought this would be a great starter for doing a brass hammer. And I may even do like brass one side, lead the other, or something like that. But yeah, Burson's have it. It was just on a catalogue they had, yeah, for $12. So it's an SP brand. I've chucked the piece of the part number away, so I can't give you the part number. But look, for machinists and hobby machinists and round lathes and that, for $12, and to have something that you could make a, you know, we could make a Lubron end or a nylon end, or yeah. But anyway, I was just thinking a nice little brass hammer and be a good exercise. So so that's not too bad. I was quite pleased with that. And yeah, you could have a plastic and a lead and all sorts of little hammers just for bumping things. Yeah, well, making sure they're snug, making sure they're home. So that's about all we've done for the week. Yeah, spent a few bob, a few little toys to fix up in the shed. But look, this one I'll put the steering box in with it, and a bit of a walk around the John Deere tractor. There's still a little to do on the John Deere, and in 3 weeks there's a show at Kangaroo, which is 2.5 to 3 hours west of us here, and I have a friend taking a semi-trailer over with some tractors on it, and he sort of owed me a favour, so we come to an agreement that he'd take the John Deere over for us. So we're going to take it over to Kangaroo and have a weekend playing with tractors. Yeah, drive around with a big grin, nothing more, and yeah, just a good social weekend. So after that, now the John Deere's about finished, I've got a 1948 Massey Ferguson, or Little Ferguson TE20, and Malcolm that watches my videos, Mel of Lincoln in England, he's got a Nuffield that he plays around with, and we had a little discussion one day about Fergies, and he said, oh, he went for a Nuffield because everyone's got a Fergie, and I said, yeah, they're like bums, everyone's got one, and but then I got to thinking about it, and later on, and I thought, well, when you get to know the Fergies, there's a lot of differences in them. And even though the grey Fergie went from about 1945, 46 to about 1955, give or take, they made 517,000 of them, but the examples I have here, like the back axles, the early ones were 16 spline, which break a little bit, then they beefed it up to a 19 spline. The axle housings have different pins where the linkage arms go on. The little 48 one on the steering brakes has a little dot instead of an oval, and so it got me to thinking, I've been going to do this tractor up anyway, and I've got a lot of parts I've been ferreting away for probably a couple of years now, and so we're going to do a series on doing up the little 1948 Fergie. So anyway, stay tuned, we'll try and make it interesting, and we'll tell you more about that when I can get a bit more order. Well, here we go. This is a little John Deere we've been working on. It's coming up pretty good. There's still a few things to do. I've got it up the front yard here so we can take a few photos while it's looking nice. I have to wire in the flashing light yet, but we had to change these stickers. These were genuine John Deere stickers, but they had a little piece of clear plastic going through between the letters, and I put them on last Monday, and by the time Thursday come along it had bubbled up, and paint may have been too green, but so I got the sign writer just to make some vinyl letters for us. I'm a bit disappointed with the bonnet paint. There's a few little bits and pieces that I didn't get quite right, but all in all it's okay. It'll do for driving around with a big grin. I'll try and I'll go and give her a start. There you go, the dog likes that, barks all the way. The dog thinks we're going to go for a drive. It's all excited. So.